let's do another take here. I might use that previous one because it was okay. So my goal was to try to make a Welsh longbow, right? And I was using, my only reference was the AI feature on the Google search. It's like type in describe Welsh longbow, tell me about Welsh longbows, and they don't have a lot of information to mine. See, if I was to say what is the range of American elm, boom, they just go to the sites, spit back the information from all these websites. But in some of these obscure questions, like describe a Welsh longbow, all they have are these first hand accounts. It's 4 feet long. They're astonishingly large. They could shoot through a oak door, which we all know is BS. And so there's nothing out there. The only thing that you can really count on is they were made out of elm and other woods that would have been available in Wales. Along with the topography, the physical geography, to help you kind of guess your way through it. But the other thing is they would use them as a cudgel, for beating on people with. Now, that leaves things incredibly open. Basically, what is it? We don't know. So I was using the first account, about 4 feet long, roughly made, blah, blah, blah. And when you make a bow this is a little longer than 4 feet, it doesn't strike me as, I'm sure you can beat people with it, but there's better things to beat people with than a bow that's about 5 feet long, less than 5 feet long. So I create it. I wound up just scraping the inner bark off. It was nothing but a thing. You get a feeling the inner bark is softer than the sapwood, so you can actually get a good feel of it. And in the little valleys and stuff, you just kind of scrape carefully sideways. I made this thing. And I'm looking at it. It's got the taper to the tips. This is an eastern woodland bow. This isn't a Welsh longbow. This is not a longbow. I don't care if you're saying you called it a longbow because compared to a shorter bow, it's long. No, this is not a longbow. I don't know why people were calling something a little over 4 feet long a longbow. I don't know. I'm making this thing, and I'm going to get into another reason why I'm going to just use this as a North American bow. Shape-wise, size-wise, this is an eastern woodland bow, so this shall be an eastern woodland bow. Reason number 2, to thine own self be true. We've heard that before. And what that is about, I'm not going to take this from the view. You want to look at this. Elm is a pretty wood. It's American elm. It's not witch elm. It's not rock elm. It's actually on the lower end of hardness on the elms. You take slippery elm, which is also red elm, American elm, rock elm. I'm not too sure what the real name for rock elm is. But American elm is at the bottom. It's not the premiumest of bowwoods. It was accessible in half of the U.S. If you draw a straight line through eastern Montana down to the eastern edge of New Mexico and then blank out everything to the right, to the east, and even going up into Canada, that's where it grew. It was everywhere. It's probably used by a lot of tribes, if they didn't have access to like a better bowwood. And so I can honestly, being truthful to thine self, use this as an accurate North American tribal bowwood. In shape-wise, trying to make a Welsh longbow, instead creating a North American flat bow, it's going to be an accurate representation of a First Nations bow. What would the shape be? I'm sitting here thinking, if I was to cut off a couple inches from each end to make it horsebow length, yeah, they would have had it in North and South Dakota and just all over the place. Colorado, Wyoming, it would have been a horsebow. Provided they didn't have a better wood like choke cherry, which is a very premium bowwood. But I think I've made enough gull-wing horse bows. Could have made a cupid bow. I'm thinking I'm going to make a cupid bow out of this stuff. Instead, it's been a while since I made a south bow. I'm going to recurve the ends, make eastern woodland bow. Now, can't always count on the AI feature of Google, right? But I can count on these. They would say that to increase the power of these bows, which makes sense because it's not the ultimate premium bow wood, they would recurve it. Okay, I'm going to recurve it. And they also said, from reliable sources, to compensate for the American elminess of this stuff, they would fire harden it. There's evidence, and I don't believe the AI Googles, the robot would say that there's evidence that they fire hardened it to help stiffen the belly, unless actually people did. So that will be the form that this bow will take. Recurved and fire hardened. But first I'm gonna tiller it. So that's where we stand on this one. Bow number 2 will be Longbow style. I had that other log, it was 70 inches long, right? Or it is 70 inches long. And I went and I cut out with my circular saw a stave so I can make a long bow, an actual long bow because it's long, at least 1.5 inches wide. I'm working with margins here, and I'm being very careful to maximize the use of my elm logs. And so I ripped it with my circular saw minimally. I still have enough stavage left in that log to make like hill style longbows if I wanted to, because I didn't use any more than I had to on this. Now when I'm splitting it, elm is very splitty. And you know, when you're splitting stuff, you get all those little fibers that go sideways and it rips the wood more. Stressed it, put it under stress with my my wedges, and then just took my Henry Diston rip saw, hand saw, right, and just put it down into that rip and just cut those little things to free it without splitting it much more. Just, you know, when something's under stress, it'll rip easier, it'll cut easier, just like a rope under tension will cut a lot easier than a loose rope. But yeah, that's where we stand on this. I'm going to finish this, well, I'm going to be finishing this as I'm working on that longer stave in American elm. And that will be fire hardened too. Again, not the most premium of bowwoods, not like rock elm. Well, that's it. So I failed in my first attempt to make a Welsh longbow, and I'm also thinking, you know, who am I to like dig around in somebody else's backyard, so to speak. But I was very successful in creating the beginnings of a eastern woodland bow, south bow. And there's no reason to send you back to stuff where American elm lacks the robustness of other elms. It has the advantage of being incredibly tough and hard to break because of that interlocking grain and just the nature of it. So I've never fire hardened American elm before. If that works out and it helps it, this will be a very good bow. We shall see. Anything else? No, that's it. I talked about fire hardening, the range of American elm, my total failure in making a Welsh longbow, but that's okay, as long as I turned it into success. Recurving it, yeah, it's gonna be a nice bow. Well, with that, I shall say have a good day, folks, and thank you for watching.